on the BACD podcast. I am thrilled to be speaking with Hannah Youssef, a certified staging residential expert and founder of Act1 Interiors. Hannah has been a client with the Business Advisory Centre Durham, BACD, and a participant of the Start a Company Plus program for about a year now. BACD strives to be the go-to business resort for individuals who are looking to start or grow their business in the Durham region. We are a not-for-profit organization. Our mission, that entrepreneurs we serve achieve business success. We invite you to visit our website at bacd.ca to learn more. Hannah is passionate about telling a story through quality home design and its stylistic details from the first and final act of the staging process. Her investment in exceptional high-end inventory and strong connections with great furniture and decor vendors, photographers, and tradespeople mean more time for realtors and clients to relax and focus on what they do best. Her qualifications and reputation are recognized with the Real Estate Canadian Staging Association, and having recently awarded the Occupied Staging Specialist Certificate assures service excellence. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Act1 Interiors is a Durham region staging company committed to helping you maximize your home's potential when it is time to sell. As a certified staging professional, CCSP, they create spaces to appeal to the targeted buyer with lifestyle selling techniques. Welcome, Hannah. I'm so happy to see you and to have this opportunity to catch up. I know you have been so busy because we've been trying to do this for about a month or so.
Yes.
And I'm glad that we were able to finally do this today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I would love to learn more about who you are and your business.
So, like you said, I own a staging business, and basically we, are second in command to realtors. We go in and help sellers maximize, their home's potential. So we assist them in getting their home ready for sale. We, discuss renovations. We discuss decluttering, furniture placement, pretty much everything that is needed to get the property ready for sale. There's a lot of competition out there. The market is moving really fast, and our goal is to differentiate, our clients' homes from their competitors. So we go in, we study the area, we study their competitors, and we work with them in order to present their home properly to the targeted buyers.
What areas do you serve?
So Durham, the GTA, I have a lot of, realtors who do request, a bit farther, like the Brampton, Caledon areas, and we usually do travel for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends, where we're needed, but mostly the Durham and the GTA.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were going through, or you completed the Start a Company Plus program, as you just reminded me, it was in February of this year, so February 2020, and which was an exciting time because you had the whole year ahead of you. And March happened, COVID happened, lockdown happened. How did that impact your business?
Well, when I was going through the program, it was great. And then we switched to the Zoom calls, and everything that we were learning, all of a sudden, it was like my business was put on hold. We went into a lockdown. We had nothing, like no business. And I had to basically spend all my time thinking, what can I do different in order to continue my business? Right. And so through actually our sessions, I was able to switch to online consultations and offer my clients online consultations. Still be able to work, but not necessarily outside of my home, since we were on lockdown. So I had to rethink everything. How can I move with COVID? Because, it looked like it was staying here for a while. So yeah, online consultations, I switched to. The best thing I think I did too was doing a check-in with all of my clients, like a
Yes.
mental health check-in. I loved doing that. I found that it wasn't a sales call. It wasn't anything other than just checking in on them and connecting with them. We were all going through the same thing. And, just having that support, talking about, our mental health, talking about our next goals, what we're expecting to happen, after the lockdown. And it gave me time to go over everything that we had done in the program with BACD, because it was a lot of information. It was a lot of information, and it forced me to even sit down and go through every single category on how to run your business. Yeah.
I love the few things that you just mentioned there. I love the word or the phrase that you use, move through COVID. And I think that was one of the first tips that everybody was just saying, when you're connecting or when you're building out relationships with clients or customers, it's not always about sales.
No.
It's just deepening that connection. And so I think that's brilliant that you were able to do that. And you're right, a lot of people were not necessarily in that position to make decisions about sales and everything else because there was so much uncertainty. So it sounds like you handled it well and it worked for you in the long run, which is great. Are there any lessons that you would like to share with others when facing uncertainty, seeing that you were so successful? Maybe something that you did to help keep that balance as you were facing that uncertainty yourself.
I think honestly, anytime you face uncertainty, we kind of go into a dark hole where, we feel so disconnected from everybody. And I think that forcing yourself to keep in contact with people, build a network, communicate. The great thing for me was I had a group of stagers that I became very good friends with. So we would do Zoom calls together. We would discuss ideas on how to move forward. What can we do differently? Having, those mental health check-in with my clients were so important because I got to know them on a different level. And I recognized that I was not the only one feeling this way. Everybody around me was feeling that way. So anytime you feel uncertainty, it's go to your network, talk, communicate, check in. It's so easy to fall into that dark hole where you don't want to talk to anybody. But once you open up, you realize you're all in the same thing together. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love what you just brought to the attention there, because again, somebody might go, oh no, that's competition. But the reality is that especially when you are facing unknown, the competition is actually your allies. You're together in this, and it's really about the industry. How do we come together to face this together as an industry, as industry professionals? So I think that's brilliant. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
What would you say are some of the key activities that somebody who's thinking of starting a business or an entrepreneur starting to think about business ownership and making some decisions where they're taking control of how they're making their money and everything else, what activities would you recommend that they invest their time in?
For me, it was definitely number one was establishing a daily routine. You have to invest time in that. When I first started this business, I did not. I just took it day by day. Who knew what I was going to do tomorrow? And then I realized this is not going to work. So I had to establish a daily routine. I invested time in building my daily calendar. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do. These are my goals. I think that's so important when you're starting a business, because if you don't have it written down, it's easy to forget. It's, easy to just be lazy sometimes because you don't feel like doing it, where if it's on your calendar, you have to achieve it. I think for me, that was the most important part that made my business grow. Also, finding a mentor. I think every business owner needs to find a mentor. A mentor is so important because they can guide you and help you. It's You don't know it all when you're starting a business. It's not easy. It is so difficult. And until I took the BACD program, I thought that I know what I'm doing. I can run this business. And then once we started doing our sessions, I thought, oh dear God, like I'm so far behind. I didn't, I'm not as prepared as I thought I was. So finding, a mentor was so important, and doing the mentor sessions with you really, really helped me. I got to the point where, okay, I knew what I was doing. I was more confident. I established my routine. And the third thing I would say is identifying your target market.
Mm-hmm.
Going, after your target market. And I remember you said that to me the first time we met. You're like, who is your target market? And I thought, well, realtors are my target market. But that was just a general statement. So I had to really think about who are my target market, and I had to study that and go after that. So I think those are the three top key points for me that helped me in my business, and I still do it every day. Like it's hard to say now.
Probably one of my favorite parts is witnessing the transformation of individuals, especially as they come through the program, where they start as they experience it and implement it and seeing the change that happens, the evolution that happens. So the three, just to summarize it, it's to track your time. So put it in the calendar. What's in the calendar gets done. Yeah. And one of the exercises that we work through, even though people hate it because it's so tedious, is that activity log. But like we say, it gives you two disciplines. One, in order to understand how much time you really have and what you're using that time with, it's first by tracking it. So time management, first track the time, and then you can manage the time or yourself within the time that you have. The second is that it can help you identify what's working and what's not working. Yes. So when you make a note of those activities, you can see what is the result 3 weeks from there or 3 months from there, and go back and see, oh, what did I do? That really worked, and everything else. So I love that time management, or as you said, put it in the calendar, get it done. So it's the time.
I mean, that activity log, really, really helped me. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
The second thing that I got there was mentorship. And I agree with you. We don't always know what we don't know. And that's the part that blindsides you, right? So somebody who walked the talk and had that longer experience will probably have a better understanding of some of the things that are going to show up that you haven't yet experienced or become aware of. So I love that. And the last part you said, oh gosh, did I remember it?
Identifying your target
market. Yes. So important, because there's a great saying, because a lot of us, our automatic response as we're starting out is it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, you're not going to reach anybody. So that's I'm so glad that you shared that. So love those tips. Thank you very much for that. And to round this off, this podcast up, as for our viewers and for our listeners, what's next for Hannah? What's next for Act1 Interiors?
Oh gosh, it's a lot of exciting things. I just added on 2 staff members.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes, I'm so excited because, we've been working together for a little while, and that was a huge step for me. So I'm excited for that and seeing them grow in my business. And I've also hired a marketing expert. So she's phenomenal. Also, she's, helping me with targeting my market. And I've just rented a space for my inventory. And so, yes, I'm so excited. So this is what's next. And, it's just continue driving through COVID, continue, my growth, connecting with the community, connecting with, my target market. It's all about growing, right? And so for me, it's important that I'm surrounded by amazing people now. I'm not just doing it on my own. And I'll never forget when we were doing our mentor session and you discussed about the employee paperwork. And you're like, well, have you filled it out? And I said, Patrice, I'm not, ready for that. And you said, just do it, because you never know when you're going to need it. Just do it. And I did during COVID, we're still in COVID, but during lockdown, that's exactly what I did. So when the hiring process came, it was just so easy for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the growth. I'm hoping that COVID leaves us soon and, everybody gets back to somewhat of a normal. But yeah,
That's fabulous. Exciting news. Congratulations on all those
so much
achievements so far. Again, that's less than a year since you've been operational, and look at you go. Look at you grow. That is incredible. And I love what you just said there about, do it. Just do it. We sometimes say it might be a fire hose of information. What we like to think of is that we're planting a seed. So that way, when you approach it, it's not the first time that you're experiencing it. So you're ready. You're more prepared for it. So you're nurturing that seed, and that's when you're ready. So I'm so excited for you.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, like, the program really made me get ready for a lot of things that I never would have been ready for.
That's awesome. So for our listeners, if you are curious to understand or learn more about the program that Hannah took part of and she's discussing or talking about here, it's called the Start a Company Plus program, and you can find out more about it under our services tab at BACD.ca. That, as well as some others that we have listed there. Hannah, thank you again for your time. Thank you again for all that wonderful little bits of information. I hope our listeners can take something away from that and start implementing it into their own lives. And thank you to our listeners for taking this opportunity to hear what we're saying and listen out for the next podcast.
Thank you, Patrice, for having me.
You're very welcome, Hannah. Be safe, be well, and stay connected.
You too.